So I thought I'd start off the year by talking about what games I'll be playing in the next few months. As you might know, there are a ton of them coming out, like a stupid amount, but I'll actually only be playing some of them which we're about to get into. But before we do, I hope you all had a fantastic Christmas, New Year's, and something about positivity and taking no shit in 2019. But for real, I really do hope you all had a fantastic end to 2018, and as much as I'm not really a New Year's resolution person, there's honestly no shame in trying to be more positive this year and setting other goals for yourself, which I definitely will be trying to do, because you know, what's wrong with having a more positive attitude towards things and trying to improve yourself and other areas of your life. But anyway, back to the point of this video. Like I was saying, there's a lot of games coming out in the next few months, and I thought I'd make a video about all the ones I'll be playing, and I'll be talking about these in the order that they'll be released. So these are the games I'll be playing in early 2019, and the first up is the Resident Evil 2 remake, which releases on the 25th of January. I'm pretty excited for this game, mainly because I don't think I've ever played the original. I mean, I've watched a handful of speedruns at Games Done Quick and people like Maximilian Dude stream it, but to be honest, I'm not really a fan of the tank controls from the likes of the first and second. With the fixed camera angles and the gameplay, I kind of prefer the direction Resident Evil 4 went with the third person over the shoulder gameplay, and from what I've seen of this game, I know I'm gonna love it. It's a straight up horror game that looks great. The lighting is minimal but so effective in creating a scary atmosphere. The gore in this game is also really good, and the attention to detail is amazing. When you shoot a zombie, you actually see the bullet mark. You can shoot at limbs. If you shoot them in the leg, they'll fall over and stuff like that, which is really cool. And as excited as I am for it, I'm still contemplating whether I'll be getting it day one, because 4 days later there's this small indie game you've probably never heard of. It's called Kingdom Hearts 3, which is probably my most anticipated game of all time. So I'm thinking, do I get this game or leave it until February? Because if I get it, I'll play it for a bit and then just neglect it for Kingdom Hearts 3, and if I come back to it after a while, I might forget what I'm supposed to be doing. I mean, I'm pretty sure I could beat it in 4 days, but regardless of what I decide to do, I am definitely buying it and I cannot wait to play it. And next up is a game I just mentioned, Kingdom Hearts 3, which releases on the 29th of January. I mean, like I just said, this is probably my most anticipated game of all time. I've been a fan of this series ever since the first game came out on the PlayStation 2 in 2002. Now, I can cover all the basics as to why I'm excited for this game. It looks amazing, it has beautiful visuals, the gameplay has a lot of elements from previous games, like Shot Lock from Birth by Sleep, Flow Motion from Dream Drop Distance, and stuff like that, so it'll probably have the best gameplay of the entire series. It's the first full current gen Kingdom Hearts game, aside 0.2, which was on current gen, but it wasn't really a full game, and since this game is now on current gen, it can do so much more. The visuals are the best they've ever been, the worlds are so much more open, there's a lot more enemies on screen at once, you can have up to 4 party members, Gummy Ship levels look like they'll be a lot of fun. If I'm right, there's 8 Disney worlds. I'm personally really excited for Monsters Inc. and Pirates of the Caribbean. I am hoping more original worlds that were in previous games return, like Radiant Garden, along with all the Final Fantasy characters who've been in the series, like Cloud, Sephiroth, Squall, Cid, and I'm one of those people hoping the Chocobros from Final Fantasy 15 make an appearance, because I would absolutely love it if they did. Also, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kinda scared to play this game after watching the final battle trailer when everyone was dying and crying. I swear to god, if Nomura decides to kill off characters, I will tweet very angrily about it. Yeah, feel threatened. But for real, I honestly can't believe that after all these years of waiting, I finally get to play my most anticipated game of all time at the end of the month. It's pretty crazy, and if you're someone who's never played a Kingdom Hearts game before, but you're interested in this, I'd recommend buying it. Yes, the story is a bit all over the place, but I would recommend just watching a summary video so you have an idea of who is who and what's going on, and if you enjoyed, you should definitely pick up the other games. Now, there's nothing in February February I'll be picking up, which I'll leave until the end of the video to talk about. So we're moving on to March, and next up is Devil May Cry 5, which releases on the 8th. I'm a big fan of the series. I own every game, even Ninja Theories, which had questionable changes but has great gameplay. Devil May Cry 5, just like Kingdom Hearts 3, is the first current gen game of the series, so this game also looks the best. It has 3 playable characters from what we've seen so far, that being Dante, Nero, and the new character V, aka Kylo Ren, each with their own unique playstyles. This game has online, which I think will be a lot of fun. I'm pretty excited to play it with other people. I'm also actually really excited to see how the story goes, because the trailers had some really interesting stuff in them, like Virgil ripping off Nero's arm. We see V standing over Dante about to kill him. We of course see his face all cracking at some point, so he might have some form of relation to Virgil, which I think is possible, and basically everyone gets defeated by the big demon boy. This game has also brought back some enemies from previous games, which is really cool. It's great seeing enemies from the PlayStation 2 games looking so much better on current gen, and we gotta give this game credit because it brought us the bop that is Devil Trigger, which I can't wait to hear in game when I'm cutting up demons as Nero. As for Dante's theme, I hope it's just an instrumental, because those vocals were really bad. Even as someone who listens to heavy music, they were not great. I know the vocals are getting re-recorded because of the whole vocalist issue, so hopefully they're a bit better this time. I know I love this game because Devil May Cry is just a series with really fun combat, great music, a lot of cheesiness, great and terrible puns, and I'm really excited for it. Also still waiting for the demo to come to PlayStation 4 any day now. Next up we have Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which releases on the 22nd. I remember when this was teased at the Game Awards and everyone flipped out thinking it was Bloodborne 2 because the guy's arm looked like a trick weapon, but it wasn't Bloodborne 2, it was a brand new IP from Hidetaka Miyazaki and From Software called Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Now there's a lot of reasons why I'm excited for this game, obviously because they brought us Demon's Souls, Dark Souls, and one of my favorite games of all time, Bloodborne, but I'm really excited for this because it isn't your typical Souls game. There's so many different features that aren't in other Souls games. This game kind of leans towards Ninja Gaiden. It has parkour, you can jump, you have a grappling hook, it has no stamina bar, which is really weird because we're so used to having one, and that means you can dodge, run, attack, and never run out of stamina. And like Bloodborne, it seems like you might have to play more aggressive instead of defensive. I love the setting, the enemies, and of course how the main character looks. He's pretty cool. I'm curious though if we get armor or outfits in this game, or if we just have the one outfit. We all enjoy having customization, but I honestly have no problem if it doesn't. The prosthetic arm is a grappling hook, it can turn into a cleaver used for breaking shields, it can turn into a shield, and probably has a few other uses. It has stealth mechanics where you can crouch in grass, you can take enemies out silently, and there's air assassinations. You can come back to life after dying, hence the name Shadows Die Twice. I'm not sure how it works just yet, but I'm intrigued and I think it's a cool concept. I also expect this game to be pretty hard and I am ready for it. As much as I want Bloodborne 2, I am glad we're getting a new IP that isn't your typical Souls game. Next is a game that isn't new, but it's a remaster and a game I'll be playing when I have the time, and that is Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. It releases in March and it doesn't have an exact date just yet, but I'm looking forward to playing this again. It was pretty much why I got the season pass for Odyssey. From the details we've got, it seems like a lot of work is going into this. It will have higher resolution textures, new lighting rendering system, new character models, gameplay improvements. It can run in 4K on HDR, PS4 Pro, Xbox One X PC, and 1080p on a PS4 and Xbox One. It also comes with all the DLC. Now, I actually enjoyed Assassin's Creed 3. Yes, it might have some pacing issues, but it also added a bunch of new features, like parkour was a lot smoother, you can vault over and under things, climb in trees, the gameplay was a lot faster and enemies were more aggressive, it introduced naval combat, and it also has Haytham Kenway, a character that I really like. Assassin's Creed is one of my favorite series, so I'm happy that more of the older games are coming to current gen, and now Assassin's Creed 1 is the only game that isn't. Maybe it'll happen at some point, but I haven't played Assassin's Creed 3 in years and I actually haven't played the DLCs at all, so I'm looking forward to playing those. I'm hoping it doesn't release too close to Devil May Cry 5 or Sekiro, because otherwise I probably won't at playing it until April. Luckily for me, the last game on this list doesn't release until the 26th of April, and that is Days Gone. It's an open world zombie survival game where we play as a character called Deacon St. John, played by Sam Witwer, an actor that I really like. It's great to see he's getting a lead role in a game, and I'm happy to support his work by buying this game. But the question is, why am I buying it on day one? Well, this game is doing some things that I really like and help make a zombie game interesting, like a dynamic weather system. For example, there's rain and snow, which impacts the zombies known as freakers, as well as how your motorbike handles. I like that you're getting a motorbike in this game as opposed to something like a car, because for one, it's not as safe as a car, so you have to be more cautious, and if you run out of fuel, it can get really dangerous because of these zombies known as freakers. There's also a few other types. You might alert some freakers and will have to shoot your way out of it, which will obviously make noise and attract other types of zombies in the world. I like that you can use hordes to your advantage. There's multiple ways to approach scenarios, like we've seen in the 2017 E3 trailer. It has crafting, so you need to loot anything and everything you can find, and in this game you can enter most houses, which is cool. We've seen that there's multiple choices in the game, although we really haven't seen how much of an impact that makes, but hopefully it does. Also, the game has a zombie bear, so I feel like I have to give them credit for that. And as well as that, the facial animation is amazing. It's visually a really nice looking game. I know I'm gonna have a great time playing it. I just hope that it has a decent story. If you're on the fence about this game, Game Informer have a video on the first hour of the game, which has commentary from the devs and will give you a better understanding of what the game is about and what it has to offer. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. There's a handful of other games coming out, like in February there's a few, and the reason I won't be buying them is because I'm skeptical about them, or I'm not a huge fan of these series like Jump Force, Metro Exodus and Anthem. I'm really intrigued by them, but I won't be buying them on day one. When it comes to Jump Force, it's one of the best looking anime fighting games out there, but I'm not that huge on fighting games, and I'd honestly only play it for the Naruto characters, Deku from My Hero Academia, and to see Light and Ryuk from Death Note. With Metro Exodus, I enjoyed the last two games. They're great first person shooter survival games, but they're nothing special in my opinion, so I don't really feel the need to buy Exodus as soon as it comes out. And as for Anthem, to be honest, who actually trusts EA at this point? The game's visuals are great, I like how the world looks and the gameplay, but I just don't trust them, and I'm really not a fan of the whole. This game is a dynamic open world in which you discover the story by exploring, you can play with your friends, there's loot, and we're gonna microtransaction the shit out of it. I'll just wait until the reviews are out. But feel free to let me know what games you'll be picking up in the next few months. If there's any games you would recommend, let me know and I will definitely check them out. And as always, thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.